Hey, what's up YouTube? Kevin here from Trade Basics, here to show you how to do another quick and easy drywall repair. As you can see, the ceiling behind me has had a leak above and is showing the bubbling effect that most leaks will do when they hit a tape joint. So what you want to do is cut out all the loose areas that you can see are bubbling up, and we'll get right to it and show you guys how to repair. Tape's about 2 inches wide, so you want to make those quick scores and just dig behind it. Should remove easily. And pull down because it's been wet before, so it's loose. Now it looks as though they used mesh tape behind the paper tape. So you never know what you're going to find. Just check it out, remove all the loose tape that you see. We're going to use self-mixed drywall powder called hot mud to initiate the repair. Smooth down those edges. What you don't want to have is ridges or high spots. And you just want to keep cutting until all the loose areas are removed. I like to angle my blade on either side of the outside cuts. That creates a bevel. And that'll make it easier to smooth your drywall mud when applying that. Again, you want to stay away from a high spot. You can always apply more tape, more mud in layers. Typically it takes about 3 coats to get it back to level. Now, I didn't learn taping overnight. It takes a little bit of dexterity. I am a professional, but you should be able to achieve the same results. I'll mix up some mud and be right back. All right, kids, we're back. Got my mud almost mixed up here. It's a nice, pretty stiff, almost toothpaste-like consistency. I want to show you the mesh tape. All this can be found at your local hardware or home improvement store. We're just going to go right back on that same spot that we've removed from the joint. This is self-adhering mesh tape, so we don't have to worry about it staying while we're going to apply the mud. I like to apply it in both directions because I think it squeezes up in there nicely. It gives you good coverage that you're looking for. Some products mix better than others, so you might have to do a little additional work in your tray to get that smooth consistency. You don't want to see any dry schnockies in the mud. So you can go ahead and over apply it at this point. Make sure it gets all filled in the old joint. Like I said, it's good to go in both directions there to make sure it squeezes up and in the joint. And you want to use long strokes as you go, not short and choppy like that, because you'll see it creates ridges within the wet compound. So this is 20-minute hot mud. Should set up for us rather quickly. And we'll be able to apply our second coat. So what I'm looking for right now is that the outside edges are tight, and I'll put extra pressure on the outside of the blade to achieve that. Leaving a slight ridge on the inside, not sure if you can see that. And then I'll just come back nice and light in the middle, because we don't want to have those ridges that I was talking about earlier too high. It's much easier to apply mud in layers rather than sanding it off. Let's let this set up and we'll come back for a second coat. Hey, what's up kids? Back in time for our second coat of hot mud here. Just wanted to note that I've been mixing this up off screen for a little bit, and the product you choose is certainly going to affect how the product mixes. Now I prefer Sheetrock brand hot mud. You'll find it in the bags at your local home improvement store, and I think that it mixes better than most other products. So just pay attention to that while you're out there shopping to see if you can't get that Sheetrock brand hot mud. Second coat of application is same as before. We want to put it on kind of heavy. Using those longer strokes, you want to also get used to that. Another interesting trick of the trade is you'll notice that I'm going to be getting wider with each time that I apply the mud, and you'll see why in a moment. Okay, so what I'm doing now is, because we have a bigger area that we're trying to apply to, some folks will switch to a wider knife at this point as well. That's certainly an upgraded technique, and you can get used to using the wider blades. This being a smaller repair, we don't have to switch to the wide knife. Okay, so after I squeegee out those outer edges, what we want to make certain is that we've covered the previous area slightly each time. I'll come back with a little lighter consistency in the center and squeegee out that heaviness to the mud, making sure we're not creating too high of a ridge along the center. And that's what we're going to just lightly sand later on before we apply texture to this ceiling. So after a third coat, we'll make sure everything's completely smooth. And I'll show you how to apply a little texture. Alright kids, we're all set to finish up our final segment of the drywall repair. Looks like this is all smooth now, and what I want to do is just skim this final time. You see me cleaning my knives a lot. That was one trick of the trade that you might want to take note of as well, is that I keep spinning the knife and cleaning off the little bit of debris that can dry too quickly on the edge. Keeping the knives clean is going to certainly help you prevent from dragging any dried substances through your repaired area. Okay, so I'll finish mixing this up here. And like I said, for the third and final coat, I like to give a little skim on this entire area. Always keep a bucket of water close by and a sponge so that you can clean up easily and keep all your edges from drying out. And that's on your tools as well as what you see me doing here to the patch. So this just smooths out the edges. It'll make it look as though we never did a repair here. Secondly, I'm just going to run a quick sanding sponge across that center ridge that we created slightly. Okay. What I like to do then is switch to the larger knife, as I told you earlier, This will take a little bit more practice for some of you rookies out there. And again, we're going to go a little bit wider with each application. We'll put it on heavy at first. And skim it off as we go, making for a nice thin layered patch. Okay, so if I have my skim application on there and the whole entire area is wet, I can begin to apply the texture to the ceiling. Now this is a hand applied texture. The guys that do this full time for a living, you really have to appreciate what they do. It is an art form. I consider myself a rookie at this point, and really what you want to do is we can add a little bit more water to the mix as well and soup it up. That's another trick of the trade guys like to do. In between each coat, the looser you make the mud, the easier it is to spread and apply. So we'll soup this up just a little bit and get it to the right consistency for the texture. Just dragging, slightly applying, light. And you'll see these small bubbles of texture start to roll off the edge of the knife. I like to go extended out beyond the patched area slightly as well, just so it tricks the eye. And you're not able to notice the patch from any angle. Well, that's it, folks. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. We'll let this dry up. We'll apply a quick coat of primer. Alright kids, well that's it for now. Hope it was as informative for you as it was fun for me. Don't forget to look for other great Trade Basic videos to drop here in the near future. Take care.